Hello Blitz fans of all ages, it's me Plumcastle here with a tutorial on how to get better at ratings. So if you were like me, you've probably had bronze and silver before and are trying to get for that very distant diamond. So this is a tutorial on how you can get there. And first, before we actually see any gameplay, if you are finding yourself consistently in bronze or silver, you might want to check what tanks you have, because if you only have a tier 1, 2, even up to 5, very low tier, and then a few premium tier 8s, you're obviously not going to have very much experience in tier 8 battles, so I would actually recommend that you go ahead and grind to a tier 10, a tech tree tier 8. That way you have a little bit better understanding, and that right there will actually give you a major advantage when it comes to your rating. You should be seeing around gold level probably, and if you're stuck in gold and you just can never quite get to platinum, it might be time to pick what would be in the list of best rating tanks. For example, some good ones, while I don't have them all, would be anything from the Defender series, except for the AMX Defender probably, the Progetto 46 I believe it is, and the Smasher would probably be a decent one, and the Annihilator as well. However, a lot of those, in fact all of those that I mentioned, are premium tanks, which if you don't have a premium tank, well then what do you do? Well, another good tank to run, and probably the best tank to run, even though I have not tested every single tank, would be the Emil 1. Now this tank is really good. It has 3 shells that it loads. It takes about 22 seconds with the consumables and everything that I'm running. It takes 22 seconds to reload the clip, but then you can get out 900 damage in over the course of like 6 seconds or something like that, so it's a very strong tank. Not to mention its turret armor is very strong, and you would be using this in a hull down. So let's actually jump into a rating battle, and then I'll continue to explain why this tank in particular is very good for helping your rating grow. So for whatever reason, Wargaming has decided that tanks that are autoloaders are just going to have easier time with points. And 1 second here as I direct my team. And when you are playing an autoloader in ratings, when you lose, you tend to lose less points, and when you win, you tend to lose, when you win, you get more points. I don't know why this is, but it's just what Wargaming has decided and therefore has put in the game, and we can take advantage of that with the Emil 1 because it is such a strong tank. And this is not in a review on the Emil 1, this is just a good rating tank. I'm giving you some ideas to kind of help your rating grow from whatever it may have been, hopefully, to diamond. Now, of course, it does take a certain level of skill, and you do have to practice. That is the biggest thing. Practice. Get your first tech tree tier 8. Highly recommend the Emil 1. It's a very good tank. It does need to be played correctly, but if you get it down, it is a very fun tank to run. I can average about 2,000 damage a game, which isn't the highest, but also is not the lowest. And with its strong turret, I can do things like this where I can just barely peek over the hill, and if there were enemies there, I would be shooting them right now, and they would have a hard time shooting me. It's just a very good tank, and like I said, you lose less points and you gain more points, which makes it easier to kind of keep your rating, and if you're having trouble getting to that platinum level status, can help push you past that boundary. And once you've done that, then it is a fairly easy home run to diamond, as it is just the next step. So in this specific game here, sorry for the lag there. You can see I am just hanging out up here and getting shots down on the enemy. Lucky track there, and I can't get another shot into him. I'm just using the terrain, and I'm trying to just obviously play well. The biggest thing with ratings is you have to be good. There's a lot of good players who play in ratings, so it's not just a super easy thing to get diamond, as I'm sure if you are grinding there have already figured out. And actually, I want to get out of the way of this Emil before he shreds me apart. And ratings, a lot of the tanks that are good are premium tanks, which not everyone has, which is why I recommend this, because it's a tech tree anyone can get. And it's just such a fun tank to run, and it can really help with your rating if you were having a hard time before. And That's really all there is to it other than practicing the game. Obviously, you probably aren't going to get a diamond if you only have 1,000 battles. It took me about a year to get diamond and about 1,000 rating battles, plus the 6,000 I played in normal games. So it can take a little while. It took me about a year, so I would say that's not too terribly long when it comes to this game. You can achieve it with relative ease if you are decent and you are dedicated to the game like I am. And you can see right here, I am just absolutely shredding the enemy team at the moment, because every time I reload, that's about 1,000 damage that I'm outputting here, and that is absolutely crazy and really good for high damage games. And with it being a clipper, as I said, it just makes it so much easier to get that win, not the win rate, get that rating up to the point that you had been hoping you had been getting. And you can see here, we just have an easy win. Now, it's not always going to be easy. There will be days where you have just no wins. I've had them. It stinks, but it happens. You just kind of have to go with it. If you lose, here's my tip. If you start to lose, just try to do as much damage as possible. That obviously will give you a better rating. And if you do win and get a high damage game, obviously your rating is going to absolutely spike. So really, that's it. Play well. Make sure you've actually legitimately ground to a higher tier tank so that you can get a feel for how the game plays, and then just practice in ratings a lot. And that's it. You should be able to get diamond at some point. And there we go, 3,000 damage exactly. Very decent game to show how you can kind of get into the groove of ratings. And you can see we went up 37 points. And that is actually a very decent amount. We did fairly well here, and we'll give praises, of course, because these other players did well. And you can see over here on the other side, we even have people who got up 6, even though they were in the loss. Try to survive first. If you are losing 100%, try to survive. That'll give you more rating points. Second, try to get as much damage as possible. That'll help decrease the blow when you lose. And do your best. That's really all there is to it. Try not to get hit too much in the early beginning of the game. Really, these are just normal, standard things that you would pick up over time, and it just takes practice. It took me, like I said, 1,000 rating battles before I got diamond, which honestly isn't too bad. You can get to diamond fairly easily, and I hope these tips helped. And as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.